Okay, so I think we're going to get started now. So welcome everybody to Hard Skills versus Soft Skills. My name is Nellie Northup, and I am a Nova Scotia Works school liaison who currently works with high school youth grades 9 to 12. I am a career development practitioner, and I'm pleased to share some really important information with you today. Just a friendly reminder to keep your mics on mute, just to assure we don't have any background noise or feedback. We also ask that you keep your videos off. Both of these options can be found at the bottom left-hand side of your screen. I will let you know that this session is being recorded and it will be available publicly, so please keep that in mind if you do wish to ask a question. My lovely coworker Michelle will be handling our chat box, so if you do have any questions, feel free to type them in there. While we're waiting just a little bit longer, if anybody else is waiting to arrive, if you choose to do so, please put in the chat box where you are from in the province and in what capacity you are joining us. So for example, are you a youth, parent, guardian, mentor, etc.? That way we can get an idea of who is on the call with us today. So I'll give you a few moments for you to provide that information if you would like. And I'll also note that we will have a question period at the end where we can chat about things more openly if necessary. Michelle, are we having anybody say anything in the chat?
Nothing as of right now.
Okay. All right, well, that's all right. We will get started then. So we're going to start with talking about the distinction between hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills are part of the skill set that is required for a particular job. So they include the expertise necessary for an individual to actually be successful in the job. So as I said, they are job specific and are typically listed in job postings and in job descriptions. Hard skills are acquired through formal education, such as training programs, including college or university, apprenticeships, short-term training classes, online courses, and certification programs, as well as on-the-job training. So soft skills, on the other hand, also sometimes we refer to them as employability skills, are attributes and personality traits that impact interpersonal interactions and productivity. So soft skills are non-technical skills that relate to how you do your work. They include how you interact with colleagues, how you solve problems, and how you manage your work. Hiring managers typically look for job candidates with soft skills because they make someone more successful in the workplace. Someone can be excellent with technical job-specific skills, but if they can't manage their time or work well within a team, they may not be successful in the workplace. So why are hard skills important? Well, hard skills are invaluable for both employees and employers. By learning the right hard skills, employees can perform their job more effectively and efficiently. And by hiring employees with hard skills, employers will benefit from increased productivity, lower turnout rates, and increased employee satisfaction. So I want you to think of a job as a cashier. It's very important in that job that you would know how to use the till, how to count money, and how to replace the receipt paper when it runs out. Those would all be considered hard skills. It would be really stressful to be a cashier if you weren't able to perform those tasks. And to be honest, it can be equally as frustrating to work with someone who doesn't know how to do those tasks. So this is just one example of why hard skills are important. So why are soft skills important? Well, the modern workplace is interpersonal. So when I say interpersonal, I mean being able to communicate and get along with others. Collaborations are an integral component of any workplace. So skills such as listening, collaborating with others, presenting ideas, and communicating with team members are all highly valued in the modern workplace. Strong soft skills ensure a productive, collaborative, and healthy work environment, all which are vital attributes for organizations in an increasingly competitive world. So soft skills set you apart. Good communication and negotiation skills can help you gain an edge over other candidates. Hard skills can be learned in a limited time, but soft skills are harder and take longer to develop because they depend more on your nature rather than your knowledge level. Having these skills can help you deal with challenges in the workplace. So soft skills complement hard skills. Technical skills aren't enough to bring out your best in a job. All careers require soft skills to utilize technical expertise at the right time and place. So for example, if an executive is trying to close a deal with a customer, they will need sales knowledge along with excellent communication skills. A salesperson with an unrivaled knowledge of their product and market will have little success if they don't have the interpersonal skills needed to close deals and retain clients. A business manager needs to be able to speak to employees or listen to employees, have good speaking skills, and be able to think creatively. All careers require at least some soft skills to make the hard skills valuable. Future workplaces will also depend more on these skills. So we've seen lots of advancements in technology, which has resulted in many of the technical jobs being outsourced to automation and artificial intelligence. So this will result in more jobs relying on soft skills to be the key differentiators in a workplace. So what I mean by that is that we've outsourced a lot of the technical jobs to essentially computers, but we can't rely on computers to have those soft skills like we can of humans. So that will always be a requirement of humans to have soft skills. So now we're just going to watch a little video about soft skills.
So, what are these things called soft skills? Soft skills is a catch-all term referring to various behaviors that help people work and socialize well with others. In short, they are the good manners and personality traits needed to get along with others and build positive relationships. Unlike hard skills, which include a person's technical skill set and ability to perform certain functional tasks, soft skills are broadly applicable across job titles and industries. It's often said that hard skills will get you an interview, but you need soft skills to get and keep the job. Having the technical skills and knowledge to successfully execute our job duties is only one part of being the best we can be in the workplace. In addition to these hard skills, we also need soft skills. No matter what our position, organization, or industry, we work with people. Taking the time to build effective soft skills can lead to a more efficient, more harmonious, and more productive workplace, as well as to our own overall job happiness and satisfaction. Soft skills encompass both innate personality traits, such as optimism, and abilities that can be practiced, such as empathy. Like all skills, soft skills can be learned. Soft skills are personal characteristics that allow us to effectively relate to others. Applying these skills helps us build stronger work relationships, work more productively, and maximize our career prospects. Often, we place the focus of our career development efforts on hard skills, technological skills, sector-specific training, and other skills that specifically relate to our ability to get work-related tasks done. Unfortunately, development of this kind often happens at the expense of our soft skills. This is unfortunate because, unlike the sector-specific training, soft skills are directly transferable to any job, organization, or industry. You will need them wherever you go. They are an investment worth making. Soft skills aren't just about business or building careers. They are about life and living. If you want to learn more about soft skills development, contact us. John K. Whitehead and Associates.
Okay, so I want you to imagine this scenario. Two people apply for a job within the customer service field, The first is a grade 12 student who has 1 year of experience working at a busy fast food restaurant. The second is a grade 10 student with no customer service experience, but a positive attitude and a willingness to learn. On paper, the first candidate has all the qualifications necessary, but they show up 10 minutes late for the interview, they don't look the employer in the eye, and they aren't very friendly throughout the entire process. The second candidate showed up early, shook hands with the employer, and looked them directly in the eye. They were upfront about not having much experience, but expressed an eagerness and excitement to learn the job. Which candidate do you think the employer hired? Well, the second candidate got the job. It is much easier to work with someone who has positive soft skills without the technical skills than a person with all of those technical skills and no soft skills. This is not to say that hard skills are not important, because they certainly are. However, just as much, if not more energy, should be focused on obtaining soft skills. Everyone needs to start somewhere, and a youth is more likely to have someone take a chance on them if they are able to demonstrate that they have those soft skills. That way, they will be given opportunities to learn those more technical skills along the way. So there are a ton of different kinds of soft skills. And to be honest, it can be a bit overwhelming to know where to start and what ones you should focus on developing. While we think they are all important, we have put together a checklist for each of you to go through on your own time. Be honest with yourself as you are filling it out. It's okay to admit that you might struggle in certain areas, because we all do. We aren't perfect in all areas. The good news, though, is that once you know what skills you need to work on specifically, it will be much easier to make progress in those areas. So this checklist is going to be emailed to you after the webinar is over. And of course, if you have any questions about it, feel free to send me an email. Okay, so something I hear from youth a lot is, well, I'm always told that these skills are important, but how do I actually practice them? So you should aim to be heard. To communicate effectively, it is essential that you are mindful of the other person's wishes and sensibilities. You should avoid offensive language or remarks that might hurt the other person. Make sure you have an idea of what the other person wants to talk about before changing the topic of conversation. You should make eye contact during face-to-face interactions. So direct eye contact provides assurance that you are paying attention to the other person. The recipient will feel more engaged in the conversation. Monitor your body language and observe others. Be conscious of your body language when you interact with other people. Make sure you send out positive vibes and try not to come across as closed off, defensive, or rude. So for example, you might be in a habit of crossing your arms when you're standing, which to you might not be a negative thing, but to somebody else it may come across as you being closed off. Practice public speaking. If you feel uncomfortable with public interactions, try speaking in front of a mirror. It sounds silly, but with practice, your speech will flow more naturally. Be aware of your pace, tone, and volume. Work on your listening skills. You must be a good listener to be a good communicator. Be aware of the urge to interrupt someone when they are talking. Always let the other person finish before putting your point across. Improve your written communication. So you can take courses or join free webinars to improve your written communication skills. During the pandemic, there has been lots of wonderful free webinars available. Anything you write should be clear and concise and make the reader understand your point of view. Call and book your own appointments. So this could be doctor's appointments, dentist, hair, etc. It will get you used to using the phone and clearly and concisely stating why you are calling. Although we have advanced a great deal in technology, good old phone skills are still essential in most workplaces in some capacity. If you start practicing these skills now, it will feel far less stressful when you're into a work environment. Take your schoolwork seriously. So at this stage in life, school is likely taking up the largest portion of your time. Use it to your advantage. Treat it as you would a job. Make sure you arrive on time, are polite to your teachers and fellow students, do your assignments, and ask questions when you are unsure. This would all be examples of practicing soft skills. On this note as well, sometimes your teachers can be a really good tool for you to use. Book an appointment with them. At this point, it would have to be virtual, of course, or when we come back in the fall, depending on what that looks like. But they can help you, and they know you quite well, so they might be able to tell you areas where you should, focus your attention on certain skills. Volunteer and get involved. So volunteering in extracurricular activities is an excellent way to practice soft skills. It gives you the opportunity to be in a new environment with new people and new responsibilities. It is an excellent way to prepare for the demands of the workplace. And journaling. Getting in the habit of writing out what happened in your day will not only improve your written communication, but may also expose some behaviors to you that you may want to work on. It is great for self-reflection when thinking about developing new skills. Okay, so how do you develop hard skills? A really good one is getting familiar with computer programs. So this could be any programs within Microsoft Office. So that would be Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, G Suite is another one that would be good to be familiar with. This will give you an edge on your competition for people who aren't so aware of how to use those programs. Volunteering, just as volunteering is a good way to develop soft skills, it's an excellent way to develop hard skills as well, because you are actually developing technical skills in most of those environments. And same thing with attending school regularly. For example, if you were taking a housing and design course, you would be exposed to certain tools, and in that way you would actually have some technical skills that you'd be able to put on a resume. Get a part-time job. This one's a little bit more obvious about why you would develop hard skills in a part-time job, but oftentimes those first jobs teach you the most about the workforce. And entrepreneurship. So this could be things like doing the Junior Achievement Program or reaching out to the Center for Entrepreneurship Education and Development, or SEED. It could also be a little bit smaller scale. So sometimes when we think of entrepreneurship, we think that you have to have this great big idea. In reality, you could just mow your neighbor's lawn, shovel their driveway, help the elderly with their garden. It can be much more smaller scale, and all of those things look really good on a resume and help you develop those hard skills. Okay, so what are employers saying? So this is information from the United States, but please keep in mind that it is consistent with what we hear from local employers as well. So I'm not sure if you can read it, but on here it states that the lack of soft skills best describes the skill gap in the workforce. So a skill gap is a gap between what employers want or need their employees to be able to do and what those employees can actually do when they walk into work. So unfortunately, they're finding that there is a gap between those two things, and one of the largest reasons for that is a lack of soft skills. It also says that 90% of employers reported that soft skills were more important or as important as technical skills. And 55% of employers said that communication was the most common skill lacking in job applicants. So as you can see, employers highly value soft skills, and unfortunately, they are having a hard time finding applicants that already come with those skills. So further to this discussion on employers, we are going to watch a video. I will note that this video is from New Zealand employers, but same thing, it is what we are seeing here as well in Canada.
Communication skills are absolutely vital and important, both written and verbal communication skills, ensuring that you write very, very clearly and articulate it well. And same within the verbal communication. Speaking slowly, articulate yourself, and actually think about what you're saying so that the other person understands what you're saying.
Teamwork and interpersonal skills in a candidate is extremely important for us. We're an organization that works in an agile way, so you'll be working lots with people across the company and in different project groups.
Teamwork's essential. More and more collaboration is becoming the centrepiece of what makes us successful.
Organisations are about a group of people, and it's about those people connecting together. And in today's world that we live in, it's very diverse. Having that connection between that diversity is extremely important.
Nowadays, anyone needs to be confident and proud of their achievements and be comfortable to show that in an interview. If you don't shout about yourself, no one else will.
When we're recruiting, we look at people that are aligned with the values of our organisation. So the last value is excellence, and that really is being the best that you are, bringing yourself to work and working as hard as you can and bringing that effort through.
Another quality that we look for in candidates is that they're passionate and driven. We are a technology software development house, so people that are interested in technology and have a passion for where the future of technology is going.
Self-management is really important because New Zealand businesses as a whole tend to be a lot flatter in the organisational structure. There's an expectation that you're proactive in recognising what needs to be done and doing it.
So one of the key things that we're really looking for people that we're recruiting for are agility, sort of flexibility, people that are really open to change, and also partnered with that is the real willingness to learn and adapt and be curious.
Networking always assists anyone in their own career, and we also value that in our organisation. Understanding what's going on within the industry and developing relationships with people internally and externally within your industry, so you develop more that relationship but also that understanding.
Depending on what skills and background you bring to New Zealand, it may be more helpful to get some type of experience, potentially voluntary, for or while you're starting to look for a job in New Zealand. It's a way of understanding how we work, getting familiar with the language, linking into the community, and also aligning some voluntary work skills that can then be relevant for work skills.
Any candidate has analytical and critical thinking as someone we'd like to have on our radar as well, but also with the world that's changing, it's a key skill set that people will have to be successful.
If you look at where the future's going, problem solving and collaborating to solve problems is really important. They can be very hard to assess in an interview situation, so building a CV or a repertoire of stories which can illustrate how you've solved problems is important.
So I think initiative and drive for a candidate is very important in our organisation. So anyone that can demonstrate they can take something and drive it through to completion is someone we're looking for.
We are a values-based business, so really understanding how you fit with the values that we have and what your values are to make sure that you're not only the right person for us, but it's also the right organisation for you.
We've got 51 different nationalities here at KPMG. Over 30% of all of our hires come from overseas, so we don't necessarily have a fit. We're looking for people that now add to the culture of the organisation.
Okay, so as you can see, employers highly value soft skills. And that kind of brings us to the next piece of this, of why does this all matter? Well, soft skills are increasingly becoming the hard skills of today's workforce. So your work ethic, your attitude, your communication skills, your emotional intelligence, and a whole host of other personal attributes are the soft skills that are crucial for career success. It is far more common now to continue on to post-secondary than it used to be, meaning that there are a lot of recent post-secondary graduates who all have the same thing to offer, their education. And while this is great and should not be undervalued, what will make you stand out amongst everyone else is showing that you have those soft skills. Having soft skills is one of the best ways to guarantee job success. We know employers want and need soft skills, but are having a hard time finding it. Now that you know this, it gives you an edge on your competition. While your technical skills may get your foot in the door, your people skills are what open most of the doors to come. So keep in mind that you most likely won't be at the same place of employment forever, and you will need references. You will be remembered for your soft skills or your people skills, and that can often be what gets you that next job. Unlike technical skills that cost money to develop or learn, so post-secondary trades, that type of thing, soft skills are generally learned or developed at no cost. So while soft skills can be challenging to learn and truthfully can take time, the good news is that you don't need to spend a lot of money to develop them. It starts with being aware of their importance and actively working on them. It's a lifelong process that you are lucky to be starting now. So we have one more video about hard skills versus soft skills that we're going to watch.
When it comes to work skills, they can be broken down into two types: hard skills and soft skills. They're pretty different from one another, but both are necessary to be successful on the job. Let's take a look at the differences between the two. Hard skills are concrete skills that are specific to your job and are required for you to actually do your work. For example, if you're a chef, cooking would be a hard skill. Or if you're a computer programmer, coding would be an example. Soft skills, on the other hand, are interpersonal or people skills that can be used in every job. These include communication, teamwork, and adaptability. Hard skills are generally learned through school, training, or previous work experience. They're more objective, meaning that once you've learned the information or task, you would then possess that skill. Soft skills are more difficult to develop. You'll need to practice them over time in the real world with others. They come naturally to some people, while others may not have such an easy time with them. Hard skills are easy to measure. Employers can get a good idea of your hard skills by looking at your education, previous experience, and certifications. Soft skills are harder to evaluate. They can't really be communicated well through your cover letter or resume. Instead, employers usually have to wait until an interview or your first few weeks on the job to get a good idea of your soft skills. Despite their differences, you'll need both hard and soft skills if you want to become more hireable or be successful in your current job.
Goodwill Community Foundation.
Okay, so I thought that video was kind of a nice way to wrap up everything that we have discussed today about hard skills versus soft skills. As previously mentioned, I work for an organization called Nova Scotia Works. There are offices all over the province who help people find and maintain employment. If you have a youth or yourself who is interested in receiving assistance from one of our Nova Scotia Works staff, you can follow the link to find a center closest to you. It should be noted that youth are able to be serviced who are within 3 months of graduation from high school or have impending plans to drop out of the high school system. This is, of course, not a situation that we hope for, but we definitely want everybody to be aware of the options available to them. So that brings us to the end of this webinar on hard skills versus soft skills. After this session, you will receive the soft skills checklist that we discussed, as well as a feedback form to the email that you registered with. We kindly ask that you take a few minutes to fill out this form and send it back to us, as it will greatly help us in developing future webinars. Also, keep an eye out for posters on our upcoming webinars. We would love to have you. I will now allow a few moments if anyone would like to send a question through the chat box for us to discuss openly. If you do have questions that you would like to discuss privately or you think of at a later time, please feel free to send an email to me at nnorthup@empsolutions.ca. So I'll just allow some time now for some questions.
Nellie, we do have one question that came in from Dr. Shaheen, and they asked why soft skills are one of the best ways to guarantee job success.
Okay, so the reason why soft skills, why you need soft skills to guarantee job success is because, quite frankly, you can have all the technical skills in the world, but if you aren't friendly to work with, if you don't show up on time, if you aren't getting your tasks done in a timely manner, suddenly those technical skills don't mean so much anymore. I'm sure we've all had experiences where we've worked with people who are very talented in terms of their technical skills, but don't bring a lot to the table in terms of soft skills. And that can be a really challenging person to work with. And that unfortunately might lead to that person being fired, or they themselves become unhappy in that role and decide to move on. So I hope that maybe answers the question a little bit.
We have a comment here from Alexandria, and she says, this isn't a question, but I thought this webinar was really well done, and I appreciate the work you all put into this.
Oh, well, thank you, Alexandria. That's wonderful.
We love the feedback.
Yes, we do. Do you see anything else coming in through the chat, Michelle?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. So I think
we have a question from Angela, and she says, when will we receive the email from you?
So it'll be very, very shortly after we end this webinar, within an hour after this webinar. So overall, send those out.
Great. And then Lauren says, very informative. I enjoyed this webinar a lot.
Great. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, so I think what I'll do is we'll end it here officially. If you do have any more questions, like I said, feel free to send an email to me at any time. I want to thank you all for attending this webinar, and I hope to see you at our later sessions, so keep an eye out for future posters, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining.